Hello, hello. Welcome back to Evolve with E. I'm your host, E, and congratulations, we've made it to episode 10. Double digits, baby. This is another episode coming off the cuff, and it's going to be short, but it's not really going to be sweet. This is the tough love episode that I would have listened to last week had I had it recorded for myself to listen to. This is about mind over matter and the power of the mental reframe. Your mind controls so much more than you realize. Your perception of anything can be skewed based off of the way that you're talking to yourself in your head. Let's just hit this with an example. Suppose you're having a really tough mental day. The voice in your head is hitting you with, man, I suck. Why is everything in my life just falling apart? Why am I crumbling? Why do I keep repeating these patterns? Why do I keep doing this? Why does everything keep happening to me? And so you're just in this spiral. Let's imagine for a second that you work in retail, and on your way into work, you bump into a customer. The customer's holding a cup of coffee. As you bump into her, she spills that coffee, turns around. What are you, fucking stupid? Watch where you're going. Look what you made me do. Look what you've done. Look at the mess that you've made. Your coworkers come over. They're like, what's going on over here? And you, in this whole situation, because of the way that you've been talking to yourself all day long, you are going to internalize that. Your day just got a million times worse. Because you're like, wow, I suck. Look at me. Here's another example of like my life just falling apart. Here's another perfect example of me just being so clumsy and klutzy. Why is my life like this? That sucks, right? Like that's really shitty. Now, let's imagine instead you had caught yourself in this negativity spiral earlier in the day, and you took a second to ground into yourself, talk to yourself, and remind yourself the thoughts in my head are not me. I allow them to pass, and I choose to instead focus on I'm a person. The thoughts that are in my head aren't necessarily true. I'm going to do the best that I can with the tools that I have today. I'm just going to do the best that I have today. I'm just going to show up. You show up to work. As you walk in, you bump into this person. This person spills their coffee. They turn around. They decide to light you up. And instead of those comments from the customer adding to that negativity spiral inside your head that's already going on, they deflect. Because you're like, damn, I'm doing the best that I can. What's up with her? She must be having a bad day. She is not distancing herself from her thoughts because she's over here telling me all these different things and I'm not attaching to any of it. Like, okay, I'm sorry I bumped into you. I wasn't looking where I was going. I was in a rush. I was running late. My bad, homie. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Being able to approach a situation and distance yourself from being the person that's in that situation. The thing that I'm getting at here is remain the observer of your thoughts. Remain the observer in situations. And as you get better at practicing distancing yourself from your own thoughts, you start to realize who is and who isn't practicing that in your daily life around you. So whenever you bump into somebody and they freak out, you start to see that people are just a reflection. If they haven't done the work, then you're able to see, oh, you just said all those things to me. That's crazy. You think like that. That's crazy. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. What happened to you before this that made you in such a terrible mood that you decided to just yell at me? I'll buy you another coffee, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Shit happens. And when you approach everything from this shit happens, remain the observer, let things just come in and out of your life, don't attach good, bad, any type of meaning to anything, you're able to just see that things happen. Things happen, good or bad. Remain the observer. Allow things to just be. And you'll notice over time, you'll start to have less and less of an emotional reaction to things that happen in your environment as you're able to start practicing separating yourself from the things that are unfolding in your environment. The power of the reframe. One more angle. There's this word pronoia. I love the word pronoia. Pronoia is the opposite of paranoia. So pronoia is the idea that everything is happening in your favor. There's a lovely song by Carly Pearl called Pronoia. You should listen to it. It's a good song. When you start to move through life with this pronoia, you start to look for the things in your life that are working out for you. And when you start looking for the things that are working out for you, you start seeing more of them. The things that you focus on expand. Whether you want to go the whole way into like quantum physics with it and like actually look at behavior changes when something is observed, or if you just want to stay like very high level and think about basic neuroscience and how things that wire together fire together, and the more that you have similar trains of thought in your head, the stronger those neural pathways become. and you reinforce that way of thinking. So the more that you practice any way of thinking, whether it's positive, negative, whether you approach life from this state of pronoia, you reinforce that. One more thing, your brain tends to choose the path of least resistance when it comes to thinking. When it comes to which neural pathway it's going to choose, like most things in life, it takes the path of least resistance. If you're very new to the idea of reframing your thoughts, it's going to feel fucking hard. It's going to feel damn near impossible because you're forging new neural pathways. You are telling your brain a new way of thinking. You are trailblazing a new path in your brain. That is fucking dope. And so when you make the decision to change your mind, to change your life, it all has to start with doing things that feel fucking impossible. It starts with thinking thoughts you haven't thought before. It starts with approaching situations from a whole new perspective, a whole new point of view. And over time, because you're thinking different thoughts, you're thinking in different ways, you're changing the actual chemistry and the actual structure of your brain. As you build these new neural pathways, you are teaching your brain to think new thoughts on default. So your default settings might be the very negative, why is my life crumbling, why am I like this, everything sucks, meh. Mine was. That was absolutely my default for probably the first 20 years of my life, where everything was out to get me, everything sucked, and there was nothing I could do about it. Bruh, come on now. Ugh. I'll geek about this shit because neuroplasticity is an actual special interest of mine. There are so many different nuances about that topic that I will go into actually much deeper later. Maybe I'll have a guest about that one. Ooh, that's an idea. But so with the idea that brains are neuroplastic, your thoughts are constantly reinforced by your environment, by the thoughts that you're thinking, and it starts with intention. That's why I hit so fucking hard on intention, is because you have the power to change your life. And it all starts with changing your fucking mind. Changing the way that you think. Changing the way that you show up. And the second that you say that you can't, you just told yourself that you can't. The mind is so fucking powerful. Do not place limits on yourself. Your brain is the literal command center for like your entire body. Yes, your nervous system. Yes, your brain. Did I just do the sign of the cross? What am I doing? But that's also why I hit so hard on once you become aware of the choices that you're making, that's when you have the power to change it. When you become the conscious observer of the way that you're behaving, that's whenever you're able to clock it. Oh, I just did that. I just noticed myself in a default pattern. This is how I just showed up. This is how I would prefer to show up. Let me just kind of sit that in the back of my mind so that the next time that I see myself act like that, maybe I can catch it in real time. And if I think enough about it between these situations, maybe I'll be at a place where next time I'll get to show up the way that I actually want to. And then once you show up in that way, celebrate the hell out of that shit. You gotta celebrate the little wins, baby. You gotta build that momentum. So you celebrate the fuck out of that when you show up the way that you want to show up. And then you do it again. And you keep celebrating. You do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And over time, that becomes your brain's default. That becomes the path more traveled in your brain and your neural pathways. And so with the same concept of neurons that wire together, fire together, as soon as you stop firing those neurons in that same pattern, those connections start to fade over time. So believe it or not, you can think your way into a whole new way of being by allowing the thoughts to dictate your actions. Did that make sense? Did that make sense? So you're able to observe the way that you're thinking and the way that your thoughts are dictating your actions. And once you become aware that the actions are non-desirable, you have to like backtrack to like what thoughts led me to this action. And then you start to like, oh, I thought this, I acted this way. What if I think this? How does this change the way that I show up? And it becomes this game. It becomes this game led by curiosity and a desire to feel better, to be more you. And as you start to unravel these different like default patterns of behavior in yourself, you're able to realize what is you and what isn't you, what you've been taught over time and what is actually resonating with the person that you want to be. And there's no right or wrong. That's the beauty of it all, is that you get to decide. You get to be the person that you want to be. And like it or not, you have that power. The second that you give your power away in that circumstance, it's exactly what you do, is you give your power away. The second you say, I can't, you give that power away. There are physical limitations to this. I understand that completely. But I also understand the doing what you can with what you have. But hey, you know what? I also fucking believe in miracles. So like, That was my wrist. It snapped. I'm just damn near delusional enough to believe that anything can fucking happen. So, come at me, think what you want. I stand by what I said. Anything can fucking happen. Your mind is so powerful. Both your mind and you are capable of so much more than you realize, and that's why also it's important to not place limits on it. Stay in this continuous cycle of self-improvement and development and wanting to get better and wanting to be better. Constantly remain the observer because you'll see new things over time. As you unlock these new levels, you unlock these new ways of being, you'll start to see other areas. It's this cycle. There's no finish line. You just keep evolving. You just keep growing. As new things are brought into your life, you gain new awareness. You gain new perspective. You're able to go deeper into yourself. You're able to just unlock these different levels of self-knowing and self-awareness. You start to be able to show up in that. It's beautiful. It's so fucking cool. So get out of your own fucking way. You are capable of so much more than you know. Mind over matter. My favorite way to practice mind over matter, I'll come back to it. It's my favorite. It's the gym. Go to the fucking gym. Go lift some heavy ass weights. If you're new to the gym, start at a reasonable pace. Reach out to me if you have questions. I'm happy to help. I won't charge you for that shit because everybody deserves a fucking outlet. Everybody deserves to be comfortable in the gym. I'm more than happy to help beginners. But if you're in the gym, go fucking lift some heavy ass weights. You'll teach yourself. Everything is mind over matter. There's a point where you need to know your limits. I know that. I say that. Do that. But for a really good way to teach yourself mind over matter, go till failure on a set. Go till form failure. There's a difference between muscle failure and form failure. Form failure is where you're not able to keep good form anymore, but like you can kind of keep doing the same movement. And then muscle failure is where you're like actually completely like, I can't fucking move my arm anymore. For me personally, it's a practice to go until failure every time. That is also because I can't count for shit for like reps and sets. That's my own problem. But I use it to my advantage, where I will mind over matter. I will go until failure and then do another one. And then once I realize that I can do another one, I do another one. And then once I realize that I did 2 more than my brain told me I could do, my body did 2 more than my brain told me I could do. I go up in weight. If I can move that shit beyond what my mind tells me I can, my body can probably move more weight than my mind tells me that I can. It's a funny little phenomenon that happens with me. When I have a spotter in the gym, holy fuck, I can lift like 5 to 10 more pounds. And it's because my mind feels safe enough that somebody like has my back. And then I trust my body a little bit more. And then my body feels safe because somebody has my back. And then suddenly I'm stronger. And so I will end on, that is a good example of why it's really helpful to have the right kind of support in your environment. When you have somebody there who's pushing you, who's egging you on, who is telling you you're stronger than you think you are, but I'm here if you need me. That shit can make all the difference. And that's why I always have a coach in my life. From the time that I was 19, for the past 4 years, I've almost consistently had a coach in my corner. When I start doubting myself, when I start doubting my own strength, my own capabilities, I turn around and they're fucking behind me. They've got my back and they're like, go bitch, remember who you are. And if you need help, I am here. I'm literally a phone call away. I'm a text away, whatever you need. I've had fitness coaches. I have had health coaches. I have had bodybuilding coaches. I have had mindset coaches. I have had business coaches, and they're fucking worth it. Let me just plug myself real quick. I do mindset and wellness coaching. Hit me up on Instagram if you need it. But whatever it is that you're fucking dealing with right now, you are going to get through this. You are stronger than you know. Your mind can be your greatest tool or your greatest enemy. Use it wisely. Make the decision to let it be your greatest asset. That is all I have to say for today. This was a short episode, but I love you. I hope you have a day as beautiful as you are. It has been real.